Guys, it's your favorite federal informant. Listen, you guys, I am on vacation, but I wanted to pop in and talk about this thing that's going on. I know you guys heard about it. A lot of people have questions. I wanted to come and address it. If you guys don't know, Diddy told the defense and the prosecution that he wants them both to turn in similar cases like Diddy's. Okay. And by similar, it means you got convicted of one or two things of the Mann Act and you had no criminal priors. Okay. Now, a lot of the Diddy goons, the Diddy idiots were like, ooh, Diddy going to walk? He ain't even been doing jail time. To which I said, okay, stop. Stop. Okay. Diddy might have beat Rico. And it was a crushing it was a crushing blow to victims, to women, to anybody that doesn't stand with abuse, right? Diddy beat Rico. But there's more to that story, but let's stick on topic. And apparently the jury said, we don't care what happened with Jane and Cassie, but because you were their boyfriend
Present,
or their man,
and no longer
I guess
has a
you own
voice
them
who
and you
will
can do what
pursue
you want.
justice for her
However, the one thing
accusation.
that kept coming up that a lot of
As of
people
the Aiken
overlooked
against
was that
Diddy,
he was convicted
no
on two
expansion of
major
the
sex
investigation,
crimes. The
no
Mann Act, they are
isolation
major
orders,
federal
no equipment
crimes.
access,
Okay.
no
And I
suspension
did
of
some
attorney
research. I talked to
communication.
my legal people and I took notes. So, whenever I take notes, this is going to be good. Okay. Now, what did the judge ask for? He asked for comparable case law or statistics on similar Mann convictions. Now, first of all, this request is not unusual, but it is never neutral. It usually signals one or two things. One, that the judge is exploring options to justify a lighter sentence or release, especially if they're asking about parole eligibility, probation, or sentencing ranges. Two, the judge is building a case for why Diddy should not get leniency. By establishing how others were treated in similar cases, they could argue that letting Diddy off lightly would be inconsistent or unjustified. So the big question, all right, I'm actually being texted like Teza. So the big question is what context the judge asks us in. And the thing is, if we look at the Diddy case, this is where things get tricky. The judges already denied bail and called Diddy violent. He read him to filth. The judge was not happy, okay, and said his community ties made him more dangerous, not less. So it's going to be hard for Diddy to rebrand himself. The judge also has letters from multiple victims who explicitly said he's a threat and allegedly wielded violence as a means of control. Diddy has access money and potential leverage over witnesses, and the judges don't like to be made a fool of. And if Diddy walks and does something shady again, and I think he actually will do something shady again, it reflects directly on the court. And you guys listen, the verdict of the jury threw us for a loop. But the fact that the judge said all this in court, and deny bail, I mean, come on. I think we can put two together. This does not look like someone that's looking to cut Diddy a break. And him being able to walk straight with time served, baby, that's cutting Diddy a break. Okay. So why ask about the comparable Mann Act sentences? Okay. They said, listen, Tissa, there's three possible reasons. One, judicial cover. The judge might personally feel parole is risky, but is giving the appearance of objectivity by asking both sides for precedence. That way, no one can claim bias later. Now, he might be appealing his decision for when he sentences him. If Diddy's team appeals any eventual sentence, the judge can say, I reviewed the sentencing ranges and outcomes for similarly situated defendants under the Mann Act, and the sentence falls squarely within that range. Or the judge also might be testing boundaries. Maybe the judge is trying to find out how lenient or harsh they can go without being reversed. They could be considering probation in theory, but still leaning towards prison unless Diddy's team provides extraordinary mitigating evidence. Now let's talk about that mitigating evidence. Remember when I told you guys that Diddy's team, I believe, are trying to shut up any content creators that are still criminal with them. And they feel like if they shut down the content creators, then they can start on this rebrand. Think about it. You shut us up by July, August, September, and then you got a little bit of October to get this Mother Teresa Hail Mary that they think is going to wipe Diddy's record clean. Unfortunately, a lot of evidence that the jury wasn't a lot of witness statements and affidavit that the jury didn't see. The judge is privy to all that, and all that is going into his decision. Okay. So again, I actually said, but do you really think there is any type of risk of Diddy walking with just parole? I said, no, but I had to take it to the people that actually practice law. And they said, right now, Tissa, it is super low. And I'm like, okay, but why? Because y'all also said it was super low that he was going to beat the Rico charger. Well, that's not true. They said the Cassie charges were super low. They said one, the Mann Act is a serious federal charge. And even though it's sometimes used strategically in civil or hybrid cases, judges take it very seriously when paired with violence and pattern behavior. Judge Aaron, when he was asking for bail, said, not only is he violent, but there is a pattern of violence, public sentiment, They also will take this, it's low because public sentiment and visibility are sky high. And the DOJ knows this is a credibility test. Again, remember Maureen Comey said this is chilling for victims. It will have a chilling effect. And if the judge already said Diddy is violent and a threat and denied bail,
and no
then
longer
suddenly
has a
letting him
voice
walk
who will
would make
pursue
the judge
justice
look
for her
wildly
accusation.
inconsistent unless new facts
As
came
of
to
the
light.
taken
So
against
what do we
Diddy,
think about the judge?
no expansion
This
of the
is just my personal
investigation,
take.
no
I think the
isolation
judge is
orders,
doing due diligence,
no
checking
equipment
to see if
access,
there's any legal
no
wiggle
suspension
room.
of
But
attorney
based on prior
communication.
comments, it sounds like this judge already sees Diddy as a danger, and it's just asking for case comparisons to legally reinforce whatever sentence he's already decided on. So unless Diddy pulls a legal rabbit off the hat, he's unlikely to walk with this parole. This request is probably more about sentencing justification than lenient. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Okay, what type of language, and I just want to refresh your memory, the type of language that slams the door on parole or probation. And listen, let's get into this. He said Diddy was a batterer. This is not just commentary. That is legal language, it suggests a pattern of violence, not a one-time incident, and the judge is accepting allegations as credible and maybe treating them as established facts for purposes of sentencing or bail decision. And it undercuts any claim that violent behavior is isolated, provoked, or misunderstood. Judges should casually just don't throw out that word unless they want it to stick around on the official record. He also said your client admitted he is violent and tried to preemptively enter a batter program. This is huge because pre-sentencing rehabilitation attempts like enrolling in a battery program are often seen by judges as damage control and not sincere The fact that Diddy knew to enroll in that program shows consciousness of guilt. He anticipated legal trouble. Admission of violence undercuts any "I didn't do it" or "this was exaggerated." And if the judge believes the admission wasn't just PR but rooted in truth, it justifies custodial sentencing over any community supervision. Okay. Now also the judge said this type of violence comes suddenly, quickly, and with no warning. That's a judicial finding of dangerous. They said that the phrasing means that the judge believes that he is not in control of his violence and that his behavior escalates. It's impulsive and it's unpredictable. Judges use this language to justify detention, especially in bail or sentencing memos. It also implies that even if he's calmed down, he could explode at any moment, which is true, and we can't risk that in the community. That is a direct argument against probation. Now, when you hear all that, I have to ask you, does this sound like a judge that's gonna let Diddy? I mean, let's be serious. Even though I'm scared for the Diddy goons. What are they gonna do? Hold a visual, be standing outside with a boombox begging for him to be let out of jail. I can't wait to see this. They said so again. I don't think it does. Or actually, absolutely not. If anything, a judge is building a sentencing record that says even if this man has money, power, and influence, he is violent, he is dangerous, and he is incapable of safely existing in the community. He tried to game the system with a batter program. He admitted what he did, and I'm not playing along. Again, these statements make it legally and politically almost impossible for the judge to grant parole without massive backlash or risk if Diddy reoffends or contacts a victim after release. It's on the court. This isn't a judge looking for an excuse to show mercy. It's a judge locking in a narrative of violence, manipulation, and danger. Any future sentencing or probation denial can be backed by this exact language. So unless something drastic changes, probation or parole is extremely unlikely. You're watching a legal system slowly setting the foundation for a multi-year custodial sentence, or at the very, very least, strictly monitored. Okay, a strictly monitored movements. Again, listen, at the end of the day, I don't know. It is what it is. We are expecting that Diddy will actually do some jail time. I don't think that the judge is actually going to take the time and go through all this and make all these notes just to let him out on the public. Now, did he really offend? That's a different subject. I 100% think thinks he will, but you never know. Maybe in Mark Agnifilio's loving arms, he has found a new version of himself, because we know that Mark is doing his best
and no
to
longer
uplift
has a
that man.
voice who will
Anyway,
pursue
y'all let
justice
me
for
know
her
what you think in the
accusation.
comments. I'll talk to y'all
As of
later.
the taken